And welcome back. We have with us uh, uh, guys representing the Belize Jiu-Jitsu Social Project, a way to keep your kids active and healthy. Morning, guys. We have with us Israel Vasquez, who's a kids coach, and we have Joshua Pratt, who's a blue belt Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. What do you call it? Artist or practitioner?
Practitioner. Guy, you don't want to get upset.
Yeah.
I tell a lot of people that.
Can I start off by asking, I have a friend who does Jiu-Jitsu. His name is Ben. You might know him.
We know Ben, yeah.
And he's always very passionate about it, and he's trying to explain to me that the number one question he's always asked is, what is the difference? When he says he does Jiu-Jitsu, people say, oh, you do karate. What's the difference between Jiu-Jitsu and karate? What makes it specific as a martial art?
Well, like we were talking about, there's no striking involved, so you're not getting punched in the face. There's no kicks, there's no striking. It's grappling. It's a form of.
It's like wrestling.
It's
more.
like wrestling.
Yeah.
It's primarily on the ground, though there are throws that you can do, and it focuses on using leverage and technique to overpower your opponent and then submit them.
So it's like judo. Judo is. No, judo.
Judo is throws.
It's throws.
Throws.
Yeah.
So there's aspects of judo in jiu-jitsu in that you start standing and you gotta throw your opponent to the ground, and then from there you walk
Wrestle.
to submit him. Yeah.
Using martial arts techniques
Using
as well.
techniques. Yeah.
Okay, so it really is a mixed bag of different methodologies.
It is, and it's also the base for mixed martial arts. If you watch UFC, if you watch MMA, a lot of the guys they start off just doing jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Because it's important to get a grappling aspect of it before you go into the striking, and then MMA just puts it all together: striking, grappling, wrestling.
Blood
everything.
and TV.
Yeah.
There's a combination.
Yeah.
But let's talk about how you both got involved in jiu-jitsu. I've heard so many times, like in judo, where people move from karate into judo. Is it the same with jiu-jitsu?
I think they kind of go hand in hand a little bit
Yeah.
because the submissions are the same, the movements are the same, except throws aren't that often in jiu-jitsu because it comes from like the Brazilian background. A lot of it's guard pulling, so it's instantly trying to go to the ground.
Guard pulling?
Guard pulling, where you get like a grip and then you can jump and throw your legs around them to pull them down. So you want to go right to the ground and start working like sweeps and stuff like that. Judo is stand up and they want to throw.
Yeah.
A lot of the throwing. There are a lot of people that I see that come from black belts in judo that go into jiu-jitsu that do very well because they've already got the stand-up aspect and they already understand the submissions to a point.
Yeah.
And then they do very well in jiu-jitsu.
So how'd you get involved?
Well, I did a couple of years ago. I just wanted to start, doing some exercise, something that I used to like watching the UFC. So I wonder if I can do that. So I went to the gym. I met some guys.
Which gym?
Body 2000. With some guys, Prevail MMA. They do MMA there. So I met them, and I started doing MMA overall, but I fell in love with the grappling aspect of it, the jiu-jitsu aspect of it, because it's also physical, but it's also something mental, where it's kind of like you're playing chess, and you have to be ahead of your opponent at every step of the way, and like counter their moves, and it's very. I'm an IT guy, so for an IT person, you need to use all those neurons. Yeah. So that's how I got into it. I lost a lot of weight. I was very big. And I'm still am, but I'm working on it. and then my kids started doing it.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's how I got involved with the kids project, with the kids side of it. My daughter has been doing judo for a while, and she also does jiu-jitsu as well. My youngest son, he got in jiu-jitsu as well, and he does judo and jiu-jitsu. They both do that. So what happened is that I saw that in Belize there's not a lot of people doing it, and there's kids out there that want to do it. Some can't afford it. It's not an accessible martial art like karate or taekwondo or something else. So I put together a little project that focuses on providing free training to the kids. Free training They come in three days a week. We teach them techniques. They work on, they also work on the physical aspect of it. So we have them do workouts and cardio, and then they also work on the techniques. And then since then it's been a year now. It was the first year anniversary this year. The project has grown.
How many kids are you working with now?
We have about 35 kids.
Wow.
And a mixture of beginners and some of the more advanced kids. We've had a tournament this year. The kids did very well at the tournament.
In Belize?
In Belize, right here in Belize. And it's been growing to the point where we're thinking that these kids are ready to go out internationally and compete.
Wow. Yeah. Joshua, tell us about your involvement, your personal involvement in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. They call it BJJ. I see it on your shirt. But, and also in the social project.
A little background.
Yeah.
Well, I used to wrestle in high school, and I was horrible. And but I always liked grappling. I have a brother. We used to wrestle all the time in the backyard, so it was kind of second nature for me. A little older, so I was a little nervous about getting into it. Your body starts breaking down when you start getting older.
Tell me about it.
I moved to North Carolina, and I'm from a small town in Michigan, so we didn't have that kind of accessibility to jiu-jitsu. And then we have a gym that's a mile from my house, and about 6 years ago, I was like, hey, I want to look into this. And I was extremely overweight. I was like 260 pounds about 2 years ago. So my kids showed some interest in it. I wanted to get humbled. That's one thing about jiu-jitsu, is getting humbled. I said, I got to do something myself. I got 2 daughters. I got to show them, how to be healthy. And I got involved with it. They actually got involved with it. They did jiu-jitsu for about 4 or 5 years. And then I loved it. The people at the gym were like family. It was fantastic. And I put everything I could into it, and it's paid off, I think, immensely.
Yeah.
I feel better. I feel healthier. My mindset's a lot better. I travel a lot for work. So every time I do, I look for local gyms. Everyone I've ever competed against, even whatever level, I've always been a friend in them on Facebook, win or lose. They've all been very nice people. If I travel and I'm in their area, they invite me to their gym. I go in, I meet their black belts. It's insane. I mean, if you look at my Facebook friend list, most of the people are outside of my area, and a lot of them are jiu-jitsu. Because it's just great. And you meet people from all different walks of life, too.
So how did you get involved with the social project?
Well, when I started a business down here, I instantly said, I got to find a place to train down here if I'm going to be down here for 3 or 4 weeks at a time. I think you were the first person, you and Juan. I found him on Facebook. I just sent a message. I didn't know the area, so I'm trying to Google, and of course Google says I have no clue what you're looking for. I found them. I sent messages and said, hey, I'm a blue belt. I'm just looking to train. And they said, fantastic. Come in. You can do some things with us. And then he had mentioned the kids, and I am big on children. I mean, we have to help them. They are the future. So if we don't invest in them, we can't expect them to invest in themselves.
Yeah.
So he said, hey, I got a kids program too. We're just starting up. Are you interested? And I said, absolutely. So I wasn't aware it was as new as it was. And I came in and he said, by the way, this is day 1. And
so Josh was there
with zero experience, beginner level.
Yeah. And I've told him, so I've been, this is like my 4th time back, I think, in the last year.
Yeah.
And every time the first day I came, the kids were a little skeptical, a different person coming in, who is this guy, and it went well. We had definitely some rocky starts, like we were telling you earlier. It's a whole different body of movement, trying to get the kids to train, and we call it something like a shrimp out, and trying to get them to move their body in a way that they're not used to on a regular basis. Was kind of frustrating to watch them do, but a year later, I'm watching these videos, and these kids are in a year have grown way more than I grew in 2 years. Wow. It's fantastic how much they're soaking it up. Now when I show up, open arms, they're running to me, hugging me. It makes my day when I come here. I'm away from my family, and it's like I walk into another one. And it's great for me. I mean, I told them before, I think I get more out of it personally than the kids get out of it.
You were telling us that one of the reasons you got into jiu-jitsu was because it was humbling.
Yes.
It's interesting to find out what exactly about jiu-jitsu is humbling. One and two. I'm looking at your shirt, and there's a mental coach. And you were talking to us earlier about the fact that it works
It's like
more your
chess.
mind, chess. Can you talk to us about what, from your standpoint, what you want in terms of mental growth, not just in terms of learning the art, but in terms of mental growth you want from the kids? What is your goal from that standpoint? And can you talk to us about the benefits of jiu-jitsu to just mental development and stability and health?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'll go first. One of the things that I've noticed here in Belize is that we have a lot of kids with social anxiety, those kind of issues there. They don't want to be around crowds, they're shy, they're, just in their shell, right?
Yeah.
I noticed that a lot in Belize. I don't know why, right? Even my son, when he
How old is
started
he?
preschool, he's 7 now. Yeah, when he started preschool, getting him to go to school was a challenge. He was, I don't want to go. I don't want to be there. I don't want to. It's social anxiety. What this does for them is it gives them the confidence in themselves. And it also it's not only confidence, but it brings out their personality. So I don't want to see them necessarily win, compete. They just be aggressive. I want to see them grow in that
Grow up to who they
aspect. Bring out their personality, and that's what it's done for a lot of kids. My son now is much better. He goes to school, at least I can tell you that much.
More willingly.
Yeah, more willingly. And he's the clown of the class, and he's interacting with the kids and having fun. So more than a physical aspect of it, there is of course physical benefit, health benefits to it. It brings confidence. It teaches them self-defense. It teaches them discipline. A lot of kids, are lacking discipline. That's just the truth. And when kids are coachable, it's easier for them to go through life.
Yeah.
It's school,
Yeah.
work, as they advance in life.
Yeah.
My question is, because I think this is important, when you talk of, studies have shown over and over that resilience and grit are essential skills for children to learn to be successful. As adults, if we can't be resilient when things go wrong, if we don't have grit to stick it out, we aren't as successful as we can be. And I think of submission, and I think of what the mental strength it takes to make a decision as to how much more I can take. And I'm just wondering to myself, how do you teach that to a child? How do you can teach them all the techniques, but if you are talking about submission, which means you go till you feel like you can't go anymore and you tap out, right? We know that one more. How do you educate a child on how to be able to have that self-awareness?
As in physical submission
Yeah.
or mental submission?
Well, it starts mental before physical, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, definitely with the kids program, kids are like men when it comes to ignorance and how much they can take. we try to.
It looks at me.
Well, we try to protect the kids as much as possible when it comes
Yeah.
to submissions. Plus, the kids' bodies aren't fully grown yet. So when kids get into arm bars, stuff like that, that's something we tell them. If you're going to put into an arm bar, tap early. If you know you can't get out, tap early, because there's no sense in pulling someone's arm out or hurting someone's leg. It just, everyone has to go to school the next day.
Yeah.
Nobody wants injured. And plus, that's your training partner.
Yeah.
If your training partner is out and that's the person you're used to training with, then what? Now you got to find someone else to train with.
Yeah.
You're also hurting yourself. You're hurting that person, and then that person may not want to train with you anymore. With the aggression. So I mean, that's kind of what we try to help the kids
Yeah.
is if you get in that position, tap early, and that way you have another day to go on.
Yeah.
You know what?
Having a logical
Right.
way of reasoning.
Yeah.
One of the interesting things is always whenever my daughter does Shotokan, and one of the interesting things is how ironically putting them in these situations actually makes them less aggressive, because
It
you teach them not to get into a fight
Right.
Yeah.
unless they have to.
My kids get in trouble if they get into any fight. They get in trouble. They get far more workout. They get, they know that they don't want to do that.
Yeah.
They don't want to do that.
I'm always interested, how does that work? I have all these tools, and if I'm a child and I have all these toys, I want to play with them. So I have the latest G.I. Joe. I'm dating myself, yes, Marlene. But I have the latest toy, I have the latest video game. I want to play it, I want to try it. How does martial arts, I'm not only talking about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but martial arts on a whole, how does it have that reverse effect of calming them down that they don't?
I would
That's weird.
I would believe that if you're training and outside of jiu-jitsu, because I kickbox as well. So if you're getting punched in the face 4 days a week, why do you want to go out and get punched in the face for a
In real
hobby?
life.
Because I know you can't punch me in the face because
Yeah.
I know how to get around. You not punch me in the face.
Yeah.
So I can punch other people in the face.
Yeah, and I mean, if you take too many blows to the head, I mean, you know, and in kickboxing, we wear gloves, we wear shin pads,
Yeah.
you know, and it's really not to protect the person you're hitting, it's to protect your hands, protect your shins. You get somebody that hits you with knuckles, I mean, it's going to hurt, and
Yeah.
you start realizing that it's not a game out there anymore, and you start realizing the actual,
Yeah.
you know, the defects it could have on your body. And you're like, okay, I do this enough. I don't want to do it. I don't
Yeah.
want to find out the consequences the hard
There's
way.
a confidence in your skill set too.
Yeah,
that,
it is.
you know,
It's-
you
Yeah,
don't
you don't
have to fight.
you don't have to
want
prove
to,
it.
Yeah.
I don't have anything to prove. A lot of time the kids, you know, we instill this in them from the
Yeah.
first day. You know, if somebody comes up to you and they're bullying you, what are you going to
Karate
do?
man, start
Yeah.
to show me your gut.
Yeah, and they're
No, but martial
they
arts
say-
trains you not to.
Yeah, they say,
Yeah.
I'm gonna walk away. You know, it's surprising. You know, you hear this from the kids. You know,
Yeah.
I'm gonna walk away.
I don't want to lose the opportunity, first of all, because you both mentioned extreme weight loss with just jiu-jitsu. And I'm trying to figure out, you know, if it's about grappling on the floor, where does the physical activity come
Well,
from?
I wouldn't say 100% jiu-jitsu. I mean, you have to make a lifestyle change.
Okay.
And then you start realizing your eating habits. You know,
Yeah.
a lack of education, I think, is a big problem because I think that's why we have such an obesity problem all over the world, is a lack of education on food. But if you're going in and you're putting everything you can for 2 hours, 3 days a week, and you're rolling, and then all of a sudden you start putting junk in your body, you start realizing that all you're doing is hurting yourself for that next training session.
Yeah.
And you don't want that. I mean, you know, the breads and stuff like that cause inflammation in your body. You don't want to feel the pain. You want to feel as healthy as possible every time you get on the mat. Then you start going, well, maybe if I change my diet.
Yeah.
Well, then it becomes, I mean, a lot of people say it, you know, jiu-jitsu was a lifestyle change, and it changed almost everything about my life, my way of thinking, my way of eating, my way of raising my kids, everything. And it started from a simple signing your name and saying, I want to go to this gym. And
Yeah.
you really don't think about it until it's like, wow, here I am 6 years later, and you look at all the things that are different in your life.
Now that you mentioned junk food, I think it really just brings all the conversation together. I think the current campaign across the Caribbean is preventing childhood obesity. We know that we are looking at a very serious problem in the long term. If obese children continue on as adults, they'll have lots of conditions a lot earlier. So we can prevent it now.
Yeah.
This is one activity that children can get enrolled in, and you're doing it for free.
It is free.
Free?
Absolutely
Yeah.
free. We don't charge anything. And a lot of times, Josh is very humble, but a lot of time people from the wider community come in and they actually help us. They bring donations, they bring uniforms for the kids.
Wow.
You know, so we've been able to do it free because of people like Josh and the
Yeah.
wider community that,
Wow.
that has helped us, you know, to not only provide free training, but you know, free uniform to some of the
Equipment.
kids that can't afford it.
Yeah.
You know, also we've been not just the wider community, but also the local community has been very supportive of this program. You know, Mr. Juan Card from the Belize Judo Association, he helped us out as well. He gives us a little space to train. You know, mats that we can train off. You know, so it is absolutely free. You know, all you have to do is bring your child. It's Mondays and Wednesdays at 5, Saturdays at 3. You know,
Where?
it's right here at St. Thomas Street on the second floor of the old CET building,
Yeah.
I think it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's where we are. You just show up, bring your kid. It's free. They get started right away. They love it. They have fun because not only they do exercises, they do a lot of exercises, but we play games with them. We
Yeah.
do it in a fun, interactive way where they're having fun. They don't even realize that they're working out.
What's the greatest transformation that you see with the children since you are 1 year into the program? Is it that they're healthier, they're more disciplined? I mean, what are you seeing?
I think all of the above. I mean, there definitely some of them that have been in there from the beginning have lost some weight, you know.
I mentioned that the other day.
Yeah.
We
There's
saw
a
one of the
heavier
kids here
kid.
today, and he was looking real slim, you know.
I haven't seen him
Yeah.
in 5 months, and I was like, wow, he's looking good.
Nice.
Yeah, and discipline as well, you know.
Yeah.
Some of the parents come to me and say, you know, thank you for this. The kids are more disciplined. They help around at the house, you know. They do more stuff. They're more involved in things, you know. You know, nowadays the phones and tablets are the epidemic, you know, and kids just want to immerse themselves in those things, and that's fine to a certain extent, you know. But it takes away from living the real life, right? And
Yeah.
I think this gives them a little bit of this. They have somewhere to go where they have friends, they have, you know, other kids they can play around with, roll around with, and they love doing it. Yeah.
Wow.
What kind of kids are you attracting though? Are you attracting, like, I would love for this to be in some of the, what you call the inner cities, some of
Yeah.
the more
Yeah.
challenged and vulnerable
That's our
populations.
second goal. The second goal is to expand. We're looking at the south side of Belize, obviously.
You need a location?
And location. And we also are looking at expanding to Orange Rock. We went and did a seminar in Orange Rock earlier this year with another person from the community, Aaron Smith, that came down, and it was a free seminar as well. We got about 100 kids
Wow.
that came out on the
Phoenix have to stop because things cost. I mean, being the
Yeah.
space there, I'm not jumping on them now, but I mean, the value of what you guys are doing has to be, it has to be sustainable. And I'm worried that this one is free, but I'm hoping everybody jumps in, supports it, because there is a financial tag to it where you are exercising the expertise.
Yeah, your
It does-
time.
Your time.
Yeah, we just do it because we love it, you know. For me especially, you know, Jiu-Jitsu has given me a lot, you know, in the sense of just well-being on a whole, physical, mental, everything, and I feel like I have to give back in some way, and this is my way of giving back.
Nice.
You know, seeing the kids, you know, have fun doing it. We just do it because we love it. And Josh can tell you the same, you know.
Yeah.
These guys just come down. He's one of the many that have come down from the US to help us. So the kids.
So you get volunteers who come in and help you train?
Yeah, every so often. And they're some of them are world-class competitors. You know, we had a young lady come last year, and the kids see this and say, wow, you know, she can do this, I can do this as
Yeah.
well, because now in the US you can
It's
be
good for a girl too.
Yeah. You can be a professional jiu-jitsu athlete, you know, you can go into MMA, or you can teach afterwards, you know, so the kids see that it's not just a hobby, but if they dedicate themselves to these, they can be professionals.
You've been exposed to like different gyms. You've said you've gone to different places, and where do we stack up in Belize, and where more can we go?
In what aspect?
The talent pool.
Talent pool in terms of
That's something that we talk about quite a bit, because I definitely see a difference, and I'm going to try to word things correctly because I don't want to walk out and run into a mob or anything. There's definitely, because judo was a real big thing down here, jiu-jitsu was fairly new, and so I will say though that the Belizeans that I've ran into that are in jiu-jitsu, and just even from Saturday's tournament, you know, they see me roll and they go, this is definitely a technical aspect instead of brute strength, which I don't know what you put in your water on here, but men and women are insanely strong down here. So, and then they use that as kind of a crutch. And that's what I used as a crutch when I was heavier. And now I realized what I was doing to smaller people. And now I have a lot more sympathy for smaller people when big guys are doing it to me. And so I'm trying to bring more of a stop using strength. That's one thing I tell the kids, stop using strength. Because, I mean, his daughter is very, very tiny, and she is phenomenal. I mean, one of the best girls at that age I've ever seen. And it's just like, all they need is that knowledge. And that's something, and hopefully over time, as more people come down here, they can start pushing that, being a brute strength and bringing more technically advanced, you know, people down here to teach technique. And that's what I try to do. And that's something, people that see me roll, they go, I just want to roll with you. I want to see how you roll. Because I'll let people get in positions, and I'll just move because I don't want to mash. I don't want to use strength.
Yeah.
Because that's the humbling part I was telling you about. I've beaten people over 300 pounds and almost 7 foot tall, and I've also been beat by girls who are about 135 pounds.
wow.
When you get tapped out by a girl that's 135 pounds, it's humbling. You realize your ego needs to go away. It needs to go away quick. And that's what I love about it. You never know.
I'm sure parents are thinking, we scheduled this interview because of the fact that we know We're talking about kids getting healthy. People are looking for opportunities. Some people can't afford the extra classes, and they can reach out to the Belize Jiu-Jitsu Social Project. Where can they get more information?
Sure, we're on Facebook. We have our Facebook page, facebook.com/BelizeBJJ. You just message us on there. You'll see all the videos. We have all the photos there. Message us. Give us your child's information. We take them from 5 up to 12, 13 is where the age range is. At 5, because that's when their attention span becomes a little bit more advanced.
Yeah.
and then you just give us their information, their age, and then we schedule for you to come in one of the Mondays or Wednesdays, Saturdays, and then we get started there. That's
All
it.
right. And is it safe?
Definitely. It is
Talk
safe.
about tap out and pull arm and...
No, not only that, but we also teach the kids, how to fall. If you're falling, how to fall, how to break your fall. Don't
That's
get
important.
hurt.
I
Yeah.
need that skill.
Yes.
Yeah. And I have some videos that I sent as
They
well.
were
And you can
showing
see
it,
some
yeah.
of it, what they do, how they break their fall, how
Yeah.
they roll over so as to not get hurt. So it's safe, and we teach them that don't hurt your partner and tap out as soon as you know that you're in trouble.
And when they're actually rolling to doing matches, there's always usually 2 standing there.
Oh, yeah.
So if an
Okay.
armbar goes, we're grabbing them instantly
Yeah.
to make sure that no kid's injured.
Their
their safety
supervision,
is
yeah.
kind of on us. So
Okay.
we make sure we take care of them.
Awesome. And is there an adult group that if parents want to get involved, if somebody is thinking of getting involved in jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, definitely. We have there are several gyms in Belize that
Okay.
do this. So I'm say my gym. We're at Bali 2000 and 3rd floor, Prevail Combat Club. As my team, my guys, they've been just so supportive and helpful. But there are other people that do it as well. There's Ben, like you said. Ben has his team, his group, and he came out with his kids as well. So we
Awesome.
appreciate the community coming together and making this sport bigger. So.
Well, thank you for coming in and giving us all the information about what you're doing with the Belize Jiu-Jitsu Social Project. Find them on Facebook, contact them, and see how you can get your child involved. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
We're going to go ahead and take that final break now, and when we come back, we'll have our wrap-ups.